Over the last 2 years, the software development landscape has exploded into a chaotic mess of new models, frameworks, and APIs. Keeping up feels less like engineering and more like sprinting on a treadmill that's speeding up. But the dust is starting to settle. Building a thin API wrapper or showing off a neat prompt in a chat window won't impress stakeholders anymore. That baseline is practically expected. We've moved out of the demo phase and into the systems phase. The competitive edge doesn't come from the base model you're using. It comes from the infrastructure, the engineering processes, and the collaborative environments you build around those models. Depending on where you sit in this ecosystem, you're facing a specific set of hurdles. You might be a solo developer stretching limited resources, an enterprise engineering lead trying to standardize code quality, or an agent architect building autonomous workflows. And across the board, you're likely hitting one of three walls. You're bleeding money on premium cloud APIs, you're struggling with inconsistent code generation, or you're failing to get AI to actually collaborate within your team. Solving these operational bottlenecks requires focusing on a specific tier of open source projects. As this breakdown shows, we need to address infrastructure management and the creation of agent-ready workspaces to move forward. To cut through the noise, we're going to map out a curated roadmap of production-ready GitHub repositories that tackle these architectural hurdles head-on. Let's start with your API budget. When you look at the documentation here, you'll see many teams make a costly mistake, routing every single user prompt to the most expensive model available, like GPT-5 or Claude Opus. This creates a ripple effect of operational pain. You end up with massive API bills, wasted tokens, higher latency, and cost monitoring that is nearly impossible to untangle. That's where Manifest comes in. It's a smart model router built specifically for AI applications. Instead of a hard-coded API call, Manifest acts as a load balancer. A complex request gets routed to a premium model for heavy reasoning, while simple classification tasks are automatically diverted to a smaller, cheaper model. Now, if you're running open-source models locally, cloud costs aren't your problem. Hardware memory is. You know the friction. You have one model that's great for coding, and another that excels at reasoning. Because of VRAM constraints, you're constantly manually stopping one to start the other. LlamaSwap solves this by giving you an open-source management layer. As outlined here, think of it as a load balancer for local LLMs. It exposes a single API endpoint and handles the model swapping behind the scenes automatically. Setting up Manifest or LlamaSwap takes a bit of upfront configuration, but once deployed, they abstract away your infrastructure management entirely, cutting your latency and expenses on every generation that follows. Let's look at the actual code your AI is writing. There is a persistent assumption that achieving better results depends entirely on the quality of your manual prompting. The reality is that ad hoc prompting creates unpredictable output. It treats software architecture like a casino, spitting out code that might work today, but lacks a consistent standard of quality across a project. Matt Pocock's Skills repository addresses this by offering a different path. Instead of relying on the model to guess the right approach, it provides small, composable, practical workflows for coding agents. These skills map out structured engineering processes like test-driven development and architecture planning. By providing these small engineering playbooks, the repository argues that better processes produce better code. These skills act as strict guardrails. When you feed them to tools like Claude Code or Copilot, the agent is forced to follow a proven step-by-step engineering logic, rather than just generating a block of text and hoping it fits the architecture. Adopting these engineering guardrails replaces unpredictable experimentation with a standard of implementation that persists across the entire team. The third bottleneck is isolation. Right now, most AI is trapped as a single-player tool. Your insights and generated context are siloed away in your own private chat windows. OpenWork targets exactly this. As the documentation shows, it's an open-source AI coworker platform designed from the ground up for teams. It takes the shared AI workspace and integrates it straight into your existing messaging channels. It shifts the AI from a personal calculator to a collaborative teammate that everyone can access and interact with. This collaborative approach is critical as we move into multi-agent systems, where humans and specialized AI agents need to look at the same data and solve the same problem simultaneously. That brings us to Paperclip. This is an emerging workspace built strictly for AI-native productivity. The core assumption driving the project is straightforward. Better environments create better AI outcomes. It builds an infrastructure where multiple agents can seamlessly share context, reference the same documents, and use the same tools while human supervisors oversee the entire workflow. Rolling out these platforms requires organizational buy-in. You have to change how your team communicates. But if you want to scale AI intelligence past individual fragmented tasks, a shared environment is the only path forward. Successfully navigating this volume of projects requires matching specific tools to your precise operational reality. We can map out exact recommendations based on your specific profile to see which of these repos should be on your immediate radar. If you're a solo developer constrained by budget and hardware limits, LlamaSwap is your first step towards smoothing out local inference. And if you're learning the ropes, the awesome LLM Apps repository is an invaluable resource. As shown here, it gives you dozens of real-world, production-ready implementations to study, which allows you to build on proven architectures. For the enterprise lead managing cloud infrastructure, implement Manifest immediately to protect against API bloat, and adopt Matt Pocock's skills for consistent code quality. Finally, if you're an agent architect building autonomous workflows, Paperclip and OpenWork are essential proving grounds for testing human-agent shared context. The ecosystem is maturing. The 2026 landscape rewards developers who master the abstraction layers, workflows, and environments that surround the models.